How are you, everyone? Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Today, I want to take this video right from the kitchen, just because there are people busy on the other side of the sitting room where I usually take my videos. But basically, it's also good to change position. Today was my turn. I've been busy in this kitchen the whole day, uh, just preparing some sweet meals. Like today, I made githeri, which is one of my favorites. A good, delicious, balanced food. I want to talk about something that has been catching our attention, especially the political scene in the entire country. And the debate has been focusing on Mount Kenya. Why all politicians are looking at the mountain. Why everybody wants to climb the mountain. And basically, this is just in the name of 2022 elections. And one person that I want to dissect today is the former Prime Minister. That's the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga. But before we get there, if you are new to my channel, I request that you press the subscribe button so that next time when I'll be making another video of similar nature, you can get the notification. If you also love this video, maybe you can give me a thumbs up. If you also don't like, let me see thumbs down. But basically, welcome to my channel. Today, let me help us understand why I believe that Raila Odinga is the best bet for Mount Kenya. And there are several scenarios that have been brought about by this. There are a lot of formations in the country that we are able to see. You are aware there's the Oka that brings about Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, and Gideon Moi. And then we have UDA, which is also a formidable force that is coming up. Then we have ODM and other small political parties. At the moment, I want to be able to compare the inroads that have been made by the former Prime Minister and William Ruto to see who amongst them is better placed to be able to inherit the Mount Kenya vote. As we've been very keen looking at the political scene, you will agree with me that the two candidates, that is William Ruto and Raila Odinga, seem to be the most head-to-head candidates in this contest. As at the moment, because I say in politics, anything can happen. Things can change. Tomorrow we can have a different information than today. And when it comes to that such a scenario, we shall also be able to look at it and see the new opportunities that are going to emerge. So, when we look at Raila Odinga vis-a-vis his positioning to the mountain, I would say that is one person who has actually championed for distribution of resources to be brought down to the counties. And when we talk about the counties, generally we must also be able to look at the other parts of the country. He is the father of devolution just because he propagated and championed for the new constitution that brought in the 50% shareable revenue from the national government to the counties. And we have been able to see actually what this percentage has been able to do in terms of development across all the counties in Kenya. So Mount Kenya are actually placed to benefit from such a progressive ideology. Because when you look at the BBI, if it will have not been shut down by the courts, and it goes through the referendum and goes through, then the 50% was going to be increased to 35%. Actually, that will mean more resources to the counties. And with more resources to the counties, it means the mountain region will equally have a lot of concentrated resources that they can be able to channel to other developmental needs in that region. And again, our second point, let us look at also in terms of these policies. Recently, a few years, few months, and just 1 or 2 years ago, we've seen the former Prime Minister very keen in the tea and coffee reforms. And you can agree with me that he did whip or mobilize his party, the ODM, members of parliament, in both Senate and also in the National Assembly, to be able to push through the coffee and tea reforms. And this has actually benefited a lot of farmers. And we know that most coffee and tea farmers come from both Rift Valley and Central region. So basically, through that progressive initiative that he has been able to push through this period of hardship, positions him as somebody who values the cash crop, the major cash crops that come from this region, which is actually an economic bedrock, an economic pillar for this region. He has also been able to push through, and we saw when he read through the BBI document, there were a lot of proposals that were very progressive also to the youth development, especially like the tax holiday for the youth, and also creating a special ministry and a special commission for the youth agenda in the country. He was also able to push through for the royalties for the musicians and people who actually earn from their talents. And right now, most of the musicians are able to earn from the skiza tunes, vis-a-vis like what was there in the past, where the other promotional companies were taking the huge share, and through his intervention, and also with the president, right now, the young people who are actually in this industry are enjoying the proceeds of their sweat. And let's also look at one of his critical approach into empowering people. Number 3 is that Raila Odinga has a clear policy in able to transform, or now he wants to transform the life of young people. He is more of anti-handouts. And we know when we talk about politicians who give handouts, we can mention 1 or 2. But he has always kept on the essence of providing real handouts to young people. And that is why when you look at things like the tax holding for the youth, grace period when it comes to health, and that was a key proposal in BBI, that will be able to give grace period for people who had access health loan. You can see just like from the other across the divide, while the Astral narrative has been prepared to look as more of a handout system, where young people are promised or given an example like the wheelbarrows. And the discussion around this entire process of empowering young people has been to focus more on technology. What are the responses to the needs of the young people aligned to the development in technology? So the Prime Minister has been more of a policy framework that embraces technology for the young people, that embraces skill transfer, that embraces knowledge transfer to young people. And once that is done, and also provision of easy access to capital, and positioning of such resources for innovation in the market, that would be a good framework that gives a clear solution to the needs of young, because this is a debate. Every election period, all politicians will come up and say, I will focus on the young people, I will focus on women, I will focus, and it becomes like a routine. Why must the focus only come in during elections? And we know during elections actually no actual implementation takes place. No policies are always implemented during elections. So these are just pledges. So a good pledge should be able to look at an overall, an holistic, progressive programming, taking into account the challenges that the young people have had in our society. So it's our approach to taking the policy direction that is also good critical, and that will position him very well, especially for the young people in this region. Another good point that we must also associate the Prime Minister with is that he has championed for peace. And you will agree with me that peace in this country is very critical, especially for economic development. And during the transitional turmoils after every election, the people who feel the bunch of insecurity, the bunch of commotion, the bunch of such unpeaceful protests and peaceful processes are people who have invested economically in different sectors in this country. And we know very well by good culture and good practice that people from the mountain are good traders. They are positioned as traders, and there are a lot of economic activities right from the central part, right from the central of Kenya, that is Nairobi, extended to the broader part of central region, and they do a lot of agriculture, a lot of produce that actually penetrate all corners of the country. They're actually the feeding basket for the country. So when there is peace, they're able to thrive in their businesses, and that peace enables even the rest of the country, the other parts of the country, to also benefit from whatever comes from these regions. So peace has been one of the critical prominence of the Prime Minister, and we can remember the Prime Minister critically when he had to share his own ambition. I think that should be in 2002 when he said Kibaki Tosha, and immediately after that he went to the government due to few misunderstanding. He came out of the government, ran against Kibaki again. It said he won the 2007 election, and again they didn't agree in terms of what was declared as the final outcome. There were chaos, and again he was able to swallow his pride again, came to the table, and they were able to form the Grand Coalition government. And that is where the blueprint document that he has, the former Prime Minister, in many occasions you will hear him talk about the Vision 2030. This was one of the best documents ever generated in this country. And I think from the look of things, this is one of his foundation document that he will want to rely on in developing his policy should he form the next government. So in the last election, again, we also saw the former Prime Minister coming out to embrace peace by going for handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, and we can feel the tranquility across the country. There's that peaceful coexistence amongst Kenyans. So at times we can credit the former Prime Minister with such a big art that makes him want to sacrifice self-ambition for the ambition of the greater for the greater country. Unlike some of his competitors, they might not have such good key record, and therefore that means that Central Kenya must be able to recognize such contribution that he has made. Because when he supported Kibaki comes from Central Kenya. when he came into handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta actually comes from Central Kenya. And it's always good politically, though we might say that people do not have political debt to pay. But in goodwill, this is actually the moment to be able to appreciate such good gesture. We must also agree that, and this actually was my last point, that former Prime Minister has been a good advocate, especially for the regional representation. Mount Kenya would have benefited if BBI was to go through. Why do I say that? Because in the BBI document, there was proposal to have 70 new constituencies. And the 70 new constituencies, almost 3/4 of the constituencies, almost more than half of the constituencies were to go to Central Kenya. And what was the driving point to this? The former Prime Minister, in many occasions, we've heard him talk about one man, one vote, one shilling. And additionally, this goes in line with the resources. Because when you talk about one vote, one shilling, simply means is giving more opportunity for representation because of the population quota of Central Region. So it means the more numbers, the more units of representation, the more resources. So that if we talk about CDF funding, there will be more CDF funds in the Central Region because of their population quota. So we can agree that positively it's outlined policies and what he has always stood for and supported are more to benefit the Central Region. Equally, other parts of the country were also going to benefit, because when the 35% will be rolled down to all the counties, then it means more resources will actually be devolved to each and every county in this country. And also the same policy, the population quota idea was also going to ensure that each region gets equitable and valuable resource depending on their contribution to the population. He has also been pushing for the equalization funding, because you realize when it came to equalization fund, a populous place like Kiambu will still get little allocation, unlike northeastern Kenya that has lower population but will get high funding. So as much as that was also progressive and that was also a good idea, but in terms of sustainability in the long-term frame, it means we are going to see a situation where the more votes the region has, the more money they are going to have, and that means there will be more money for development. Yes, I would want to maybe pick one or two areas where his competitors have lagged behind, especially like when we look at the deputy president, that is William Ruto. When Raila was pushing for the population quota in that had been proposed by Commission on Revenue Allocation, and whipped the ODM members to go to support the report and the proposal, Ruto on the other hand also whipped his MPs to shut down that proposal. And we've seen that even when it comes to the handshake, the deputy president from the word go was not for the handshake, and he has always blamed external forces, people who are not members of the ruling Jubilee Party, coming in to cause havoc and coming in to be more strategic in the running and management of the country affairs as outsiders. They're actually watering down the role that the handshake actually played in the progressive development of the country today. So next time I will want to look at now other political players and what will be their perceived influence in the Mount Kenya politics. And one unique point that I was almost missing is that of late we've seen the Prime Minister trying to reach out to every formation in that region, while other politicians will want the small political parties in central region to be wounded up or folded up and made to join the major political parties. He has promised to work with the small parties as independent unit and also as a collective unit to form one formidable unit that will move into 2022 elections and equally even form the next government. So he has actually been able to embrace the diversity brought about by the small political parties. So just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe. So in my next video, I will want to dissect and look at the contribution of the other political players and how they're best positioned vis-a-vis the rich basket of votes from this other region. Let me leave you for a while. I'll have to check on something.